What about the vibes now?
The greatest vibraphone player, surely, is Milt Jackson. I mean, he is one of my favourite musicians on any instrument. Milt, I think, is marvellous. But I will say that when Victor was over here, I thought personally that he did things that I don't think I've heard Milt do. And I think they were very original. His sounds, the voicings he was getting with the four hammers, his technique on the fast numbers. And I think, Victor, now he's landed that very nice job with Cannonball Adderley. I think another 12 months, and Milt will have to look out.
Most of your examples have come from jazzmen who've really come to notice in the last 10 years, in other words, since you've been playing. Have you gone back and listened to jazz before that, in 20s
Certainly.
and 30s?
Yes. Now, here's a point, because when I first started playing, I used to think that, I knew it was not true, but I used to think that jazz began with bebop, But as I've gone through the years, I've grown to love Ellington's music, any period, and I've got records going right back, to 1930 anyway. And of the older school of musicians, I love Coleman Hawkins. And Louis Armstrong, the older records, some of his older records I like more than some of the later ones. And yes, I like some of the older type of jazz as well.
What do you think of the revivalists, the people who are now trying to play what they call traditional jazz?
Well, quite honestly, I don't get with that, especially, I've not heard any American revivalist bands, really, but the bands over here, I don't think, are playing anything really any different to what the traditional bands of, say, 20 or 30 years ago were playing. To me, it's just the same old tunes, more or less, played the same way. Maybe the rhythm sections are a little bit more up to date in some of them, not all of them. But quite honestly, I don't really see how that kind of music's going to get anywhere.
If we were going to play you out with a record, what record would you choose now? Either one of your own, perhaps, or is there some record that at the moment you're particularly fond of?
Well, I'd particularly like John Coltrane playing Giant Steps. I think that's an example of really 1960 tenor playing with a look for the future of the way jazz is going, and I think the way it should go. And as I said before, this is a very fine musician with a fine technique, a lot of ideas, and I think he is on the right track.
Those giant steps by John Coltrane were chosen by Tubby Hayes as his illustration of the right direction for modern jazz to take.